Hello, and welcome back to another video, guys. Now, that's right, today I am going to start reviewing the MCU movies. This is something that I've just wanted to do. I've done all the DCU films now. I done it in preparation for Wonder Woman 1984. And then, had a pretty exciting one there with Zack Snyder's Justice League. And now I thought, let's return the favour, let's do the MCU. The MCU is chock full of films now. 23 films I think we're on now. I'm going to be doing Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2. We're just going to go all the way through, all the way up to Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm going to include the TV series, then I'm going to do WandaVision. And when, Falcon and the Winter Soldier's done, I'm going to do that. And then, of course, we'll be doing Black Widow as well when that comes out and stuff. I'll probably make a bigger deal out of those ones. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to have time to review all of these before Black Widow because I want to pace myself. I don't want to do them all in a month. So, we might get to, Guardians 2 or Doctor Strange, then we'll be reviewing Black Widow. And then we're going to come back to carrying on in the timeline order. But anyway, we're going to make a start today. We're going to be talking about the Jon Favreau 2007 movie, Iron Man. This is the one that started it all. Now, Marvel were put under a lot of stress with this one. This was their make or break movie. If this failed, then Marvel were just, in general, in a lot of trouble. So this film had so much riding on its shoulders. And to be honest, it is one of the most important superhero movies of all time, because not only did it give Marvel the platform that DC were getting already, because DC films were a lot more popular. It put them on the same platform as them with popularity and stuff. But it also went on to create what was, because there have been connected, universes before with things like, for example, even going all the way back to the 60s with Godzilla vs. Kong, the original. Things have been connected before in movies, but this is the first time it had been massive. And it was huge, and it went on to create something incredibly big, which now is just trying to be replicated by so many. DC, of course, are doing it as well. Obviously, they're so similar. I really don't blame them. But then, of course, we've got things like Godzilla vs. Kong coming back. That we had the MonsterVerse, which tried to do it. And there's so many things that have tried to do it now. It's really quite impressive. But Marvel, I think, hands down, have done it the best. There's not even any argument to be had there. The way that they interconnect these films is brilliant. And Iron Man just, Jon Favreau, that was not his intention. His main intention here was just to make a good movie. And behind the scenes, this film's quite interesting because they barely had a script for half this movie. The plot wasn't 100% even while they were filming. This film was genuinely a mess behind the scenes. And it's shocking that it is because there was so much riding on it. But, this Jon Favreau had a vision still, and he pushed for it. He pushed to get Robert Downey Jr. this role because he wasn't the most creditable actor at the time of this movie. He wasn't the most respected. He didn't have the best reputation. He pushed to get this guy in, and what do you know? Robert Downey Jr. is now one of the most celebrated and most loved actors ever. He was, born for this role. But anyway, Iron Man, for those of you who don't know, it's the story of a weapons designer who has a bit of an epiphany as he is captured by some terrorists and held for ransom. And he's he ends up making the Iron Man suit, and he decides that he wants to do better. He wants to create something for himself that's going to help the world instead of, helping out more disasters, more or less, because that's what, weapons do. And you see that in future MCU films. But anyway, talking about this one. So it's an incredible story for Robert Downey Jr. I genuinely think it is one of the best origin stories. It's almost a bit of a shame that Marvel films sort of took this formula and put it on characters like Doctor Strange, where they have very similar origin stories. Cocky guy, kind of loses everything and then has to rebuild his life and becomes a better man. It's, they kind of copy and paste this on a couple other heroes. So it's taken a little bit away from this Iron Man film now, but when this one came out, it was so good. I thought this film was absolutely... I do really love this movie. The story to it is really interesting. I love the journey that Robert Downey or Tony Stark goes on in this movie. I really love it when he comes out the cave and you see him happening to get back to reality. And there's a lot of conflicts in his life here with Obadiah, his partner, brilliantly played by Jeff Bridges, who's still pushing for him to be like the Tony before he went into the cave. And then you've got Pepper as his sort of love interest. of course played by Gwyneth Paltrow. And yeah, there's a lot of really cool dynamics in his life when he comes out. The thing that this film suffers from a little bit, I think, is the final act. I think the villain, the Ironmonger, I don't think he's the best villain. Jeff Bridges is really good in the role though. He does really suit it. He's very menacing. That bit where he puts the things in Tony's ears, it's like, oh, you're a bit of a nasty bastard. So he is a good villain. But, you know, I think it was... I've never been the hugest fan of, like, when you have, like, Iron Man versus another Iron Man. You know, Ant-Man, we got another guy who shrinks, you know, Yellow Jacket. You know, Black Panther, here's another guy in a Black Panther outfit. I actually like it when people sort of mix up a villain. You have someone completely different. So I guess that's one fault I have with a few of these movies, that I'll have with a few of them going forward. But yeah, anyway, Jeff Bridges was still fantastic in it. I really, really love this film. I love how it ends, because every superhero movie, I swear, up till this point, everyone was trying to keep their secrets and identity. You know, you had Spider-Man and Batman, who were like the two big boys, and Superman in the 70s, and they were all trying to hide their identities in their movies. Whereas here, Robert Downey Jr., or Tony Stark, sorry, just, I am Iron Man. I love that scene. It's incredible. And of course, the end credit scene, Sam Jackson popping up as Nick Fury. That's when we all know, oh damn, this is gonna be this is gonna go so much further than just an Iron Man sequel. So yeah, I really love this movie. I think the pacing of it is great. The characters are fantastic. The story's really interesting. Yeah, I think it's really, and the soundtrack as well. AC/DC working so well there with the Iron Man character, and I want to say the effects on Iron Man himself are so good. It's funny. Some of the effects here, because he has like metal armor in this, you know, he has the iron armor. It looks better than some of his later appearances, because he's using the nanotech and it doesn't have the shiny reflectiveness. It's more of a matte. Genuinely looks a lot better in these older films, his suit. I'm going to give Iron Man an 8 out of 10. I think this film is it's a great start to the MCU. It really is a fantastic start, and it's one of the best MCU films. I'd easily put it in my top 10. Robert Downey Jr., we love him as Iron Man, and yeah, it's a fantastic start. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. As I said, next film up is going to be The Incredible Hulk. That's going to be an interesting one, because it's a film which, it's the black sheep of the MCU, I think is a good way to describe it. So I'm really looking forward to talking about that one, actually. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and as always, I'll see you next time for another video.